Hi, these comments are for NU, and I am Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of the courses at OTC, onlinetoeflcourse.com. I hope you're having a great day today. So I got some time. I just went for a bike ride earlier for about 15 kilometers, and I'm getting ready to listen to your practice test right now. So let's find the speaking rubrics here. So I think that you are doing integrated speaking practice, right? All right, here we go.
In the lecture, Professor explains the two factors that determines animals' 24-hour activity cycle. First is the internal factor or the internal clock. In this, Professor talks about the flying squirrels, which are the nocturnal animals that remain active throughout the night and sleep during the day. So in an experiment, it was seen when the squirrels were kept in constant darkness and not exposed to daylight for almost a month, they still followed a regular pattern of sleep and waking up, which clearly illustrates that they were following an internal body clock, which was regulating their cycle. Second factor is the external factor, which is the exposure to the daylight. In this, it was seen that although the squirrels were not exposed to the daylight, still their schedules changed by half an hour as they were waking up little early and sleeping little late. So as they were exposed to the daylight later on, they gradually adjusted their body clock based on the external factors.
Okay, so I think overall this is a pretty good response. I do have a suggestion. Okay, my main suggestion is I think you want to put more voice markers as you move through, not just it was seen that, but you need to do more voice markers. I think that's going to help you with uh, what you're trying to do there. So give me a quick second here. Okay, so let me show you an example of how you can do this. So, okay, let's take a look at this is going to help you a little bit. So, this is a model response. One of the lessons in the online TOEFL course, I'm going to show you a model response, right? Okay, let me see if I can show you what I'm talking about. So, it says in the first paragraph or in the lecture of the professor, so it's very clear based on this that we have that voice marker in the beginning, and you do that, right? So the snake, so let's say that we're mentioning two important points about the lecture. So the snake, and then we have this voice marker here, and then you have a second one here. Then we have according to the professor here, and then you can see one right there, and then one here near the end. So when you read the whole thing, it sounds something like this. In the lecture, the professor talks about the western diamondback rattlesnake. The snake, according to the professor, has two fangs and deadly venom system. If it is provoked, the snake will strike its victim and inject venom, which can cause a lot of tissue damage around the area of the bite. The professor also explains that the snake hunts and eats small mammals, such as mice at night, by surprising the victim along a path. In addition, according to the professor, the snake may even go into other animals' burrows to prey on them. In addition, during springtime, which is the mating season, the male diamondback mates with a female in order to produce offspring. If the male is challenged by another male snake, the professor explains that the two male snakes will entangle themselves as one snake tries to overpower the other. Once the male mates with a female diamondback, she gives birth to her young live. According to the professor, the female then leaves her babies, which already have venom, that they can use to hunt and kill their prey. So in this case, in the speaking task 4, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We have 6 voice markers in there. I think that's the one thing I'd like you to do a little bit better. Remember, this is a summary. right? This is a formal summary. You're explaining the important points from a listening passage. You need to do it from the speaker's point of view and not yours. So that would be my main suggestion there. So looking at the rubrics, let's see what we can say here. I'm going to say you're between 3.0 and 3.5 on this particular practice test. So let's see if we can look at some things here. Okay, so I think generally here, speech is generally clear, fluid, and sustained. I think that looks pretty good. The response demonstrates control of basic complex grammatical structures that allow for coherent, efficient, automatic expression of ideas. I think for the most part, you did a really good job in that area. You have a clear progression of ideas. You have the appropriate detail, though it may have minor errors or minor omissions. I think for the most part, you're pretty good in the 4 area. So maybe I'm going to say maybe 3.5 to 4. So I'm going to put you at 25 to 27 points on it. It's a good, solid response. I do want you to acknowledge or make sure you consider the voice marker idea and maybe use a little more, use more of those. This is important for academic writing and academic speaking, right? So you get used to doing that. And thank you for completing this practice test. So I'm saying, like I said, maybe 25 to 27 points. So I think this is a pretty good response on your part. So this is good. Keep up the good work.